Hi, hello, my name is Kat, and I'm on a mission to make any game cozy. As part of that mission, today we're exploring a big question. Can horror games be cozy? I've seen a lot of debate online on whether or not these kind of dark and eerie games can be classified as cozy and whether or not we should even try. While I understand the instinct of wanting to keep cozy games a small, exclusive club, I personally think it's really important to allow room for games to adapt and grow within the space while indie developers continue to figure out this relatively new game genre. If you're a fan of the channel, you probably already know that I'm a big fan of games that kind of challenge the idea of what cozy gaming can be. In my opinion, cozy gaming does not just have to be farming simulators. It can also include emotional puzzle games, huge open world games, and even in some cases, eerie walking simulators. To me, cozy gaming is about putting yourself in a cozy state of mind. For some people, horror games, whether they're a subtle horror or just eerie, will never be cozy. But for others who find those types of stories really fascinating and interesting, who maybe enjoy reading like Stephen King novels on their day off or listening to true crime podcasts, there's probably nothing more cozy than something eerie and dark and on the emotional side. With that in mind, today's list is all about challenging the idea of what cozy gaming can be and showing you some games that might fit into the category of both horror and cozy gaming. They are all indie games today, and they are both horror, thriller games, walking simulators, but really toe the line into cozy and comfortable gaming. So without further ado, here's my list of cozy horror games changing the definition of the genre. Capture your fishing trawler to explore a collection of remote isles and their surrounding depths to see what lies below. Sell your catch to the locals and complete quests to learn more about each area's troubled past. Outfit your boat with better equipment to trawl deep-sea trenches and navigate to far-off lands, but keep an eye on the time. You might not like what finds you in the dark. Dredge has definitely been the epitome of this new genre, so it's natural that it's our first one on the list. The coziness of this game comes in with repetitive gameplay and a quite familiar one for cozy gamers at that. The fishing is the core element, and although set in a creepy environment with some very eerie elements, it still somehow feels comforting even while the game tries to pull you back into discomfort. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter is a first-person story-driven mystery game that focuses entirely on exploration and discovery. It contains no combat or explosions of any kind. The developers say if their game leaves any scars, we hope you don't see them. You play the game as Paul Prospero, an occult-minded detective who receives a disturbing letter from Ethan Carter. Realizing the boy is in grave danger, Paul arrives at Ethan's house of Red Creek Valley, where things turn out to be even worse than imagined. Ethan has vanished in the wake of a brutal murder, which Paul quickly discerns might not be the only local murder worth looking into. Walking simulators, even in a dark setting, are a perfect fit for this cozy horror genre, in my opinion. Removing combat and gameplay from a game leaves you only with the narrative and the feeling of stepping into the shoes of that character, in a way that only really video games can do. Though The Vanishing of Ethan Carter is probably closer to a mystery movie than a horror one, it's still got those dark themes that fit safely in the comforting discomfort of the cozy horror genre. Immerse yourself in Little Nightmares, a dark, whimsical tale that will confront you with your childhood fears. Help Six escape the Maw, a vast, mysterious vessel inhabited by corrupted souls looking for their next meal. As you progress on your journey, explore the most disturbing dollhouse offering a prison to escape from, and a playground full of secrets to discover. Reconnect with your inner child, unleash your imagination, and find the way out. One of the genres that definitely get lumped into cozy horror a lot is the intersection of horror games and cute aesthetics. This game is by no means comforting in gameplay, but the cute aesthetics lend it more to cozy gamers who don't mind some more intense moments. It is 1934 in the far reaches of the South Pacific. Nora has crossed the ocean following the trail of her missing husband's expedition and finds herself on a lush island paradise. A nameless, forgotten place dotted with the remnants of a lost civilization. What strange secrets does it hold, and what might Nora unearth in her quest for the truth? Experience a charming character study of a woman on her quest to discover the truth of the disappearance of her husband, and to find out who she really is. Call of the Sea is the perfect cozy horror in my opinion. It's eerie, it's slow-paced, but packs a really good narrative punch. On top of that, it's a puzzle game which both cozy and horror games as genres definitely have in common. Horror games use puzzles as a way to de-escalate tension, whereas cozy games tend to use it as a way to add interest and gameplay to comforting settings. So a walking simulator, puzzle game set in an eerie, dark mystery, what's more cozy horror than that? Follow the story of a boy as he unravels the mystery of his sister's fate. Then follow it up with another award-winning game by the same developers with Inside, where a boy finds himself in the middle of a strange and dark project. Both games bring together side-scrolling platforming and puzzles in these trippy, confusing, and incredibly dark tales of boys on a mission. I've lumped these two titles together just as they're so similar and both should really be played if you're going to play either of them. It might seem strange to call either of these games cozy at all, as they are just very dark and creepy, but I think they have a comfort level that pulls it into cozy horror for me. The pacing is quite a bit slower than most horror games, and their perspective feels more like you're watching something crazy happen, rather than putting yourself into the shoes of the boys in each stories. I think that separation of perspective makes it more like unraveling a mystery than a classic horror game that'll have you jumping out of your seat. Both games also have that very interesting story to go along with it that will have you hooked from the beginning. Beyond that, so many games in this genre are based on these two, so worth a play if you haven't tried them already. Welcome to Undermere, a quaint town surrounded by hag-infested forests and rugged mountains. You are the horticulturist, owner of local plant store, Strange Horticulture. As a cast of colorful customers come by your shop, you are quickly thrust into an occult mystery stretching back hundreds of years. Find and identify new plants, pet your cat, speak to a coven, or join a cult. Use your growing collection to influence the story and unravel Undermere's dark mysteries. Similar to Dredge, Strange Horticulture thrives in the intersection of cozy, repetitive gameplay with creepy, mysterious themes and narratives alongside it. Strange Horticulture is also very unique and unlike any other game I've played. You're essentially trying to solve puzzles to identify plants that the customers need, all while trying to unravel the weird mystery going on in the background. There's also a similar element to Dredge in that the more you mess up, the more you add to a meter that can lead to some strange happenings. Don't Starve is an uncompromising wilderness survival game full of science and magic. You play as Wilson, an intrepid gentleman scientist who has been trapped by a demon and transported to a mysterious wilderness world. Wilson must learn to exploit his environment and its inhabitants if he ever hopes to escape and find his way back home. Enter a strange and unexplored world full of strange creatures, dangers, and surprises. Gather resources to craft items and structures that match with your survival style. Play your way as you unravel the mysteries of this strange land. It's debatable on whether or not this really counts as horror, but Don't Starve is generally credited as one of the first dark and spooky games that still somehow feels cozy. Survival games also lend themselves really well to horror as the intensity and tension created by trying to manage your resources. Survival horror games and cozy games have a lot in common. Similar to puzzle games like I mentioned before, cozy games use resource management and crafting as a way to add interest to a cozy setting, whereas horror games use it as a way to de-escalate or create a more comfortable setting in a scary one. So it's very interesting when you bring both of those things together in kind of a comforting and yet still spooky game. Oxenfree perfectly brings together eerie sci-fi with narrative point and click in this bizarre mystery in the woods. Oxenfree is a supernatural thriller about a group of friends who unwittingly open a ghostly rift. Play as Alex, a bright, rebellious teenager who brings her new stepbrother Jonas to an overnight party on an old military island. The night takes a terrifying turn when you unwittingly open a ghostly gate spawned from the island's cryptic past. How you deal with these events, your peers, and the ominous creatures you've unleashed is up to you. You determine every aspect of Alex's story while exploring Edward's Island, uncovering the base's dark past, and changing the course of your friends' lives. I loved playing this game and can't wait to play the sequel that just came out. It's truly a fascinating story with so many weird and mysterious things happening. It's the perfect game for cozy gamers who love a murder mystery book with some incredible voice acting to boot. Anyways, that's it for me today. Thank you so very much for watching. If you've watched this far, let me know down below what are your favorite games in the cozy horror space. And also, do you think these games can be cozy? Are we stretching the definition too far? I'd love to hear your ideas and thoughts down below. And if you enjoyed this content and want to see more of me, I do stream over on Twitch and here on YouTube, so make sure you hit notification bells on both those platforms to be notified when I go live. We play a lot more spooky games over on those channels, so if you want to watch me play games like Resident Evil, Oxenfree, that kind of stuff, make sure you're following me over on there. Anyways, that's it for me today. I hope you have the coziest day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!